Hi everyone, it's John Mitchell, and in today's video, we're going to continue looking at the concept of change and explore the proactive and reactive approaches to managing change within a business. So, when businesses are implementing change, they can either adopt a proactive or a reactive approach. So, a proactive approach involves trying to anticipate changes in the dynamic business environments and then taking preemptive action to prevent any adverse impacts as well as to exploit new opportunities for the business. So that strategic forward-looking approach can help businesses stay ahead of their competitors, meet any future challenges that they may be faced with, as well as maintain control over their future rather than continuously reacting to external influences all the time. For instance, businesses can monitor proactive change by conducting regular market research and staying informed about market trends and implementing changes to try and remain relevant and make use of those market trends. It could be that they encourage innovation so that their employees are coming up with new ideas, which can lead to changes that improve different areas of the business. Strategic planning is a really important aspect of being proactive because planning for the long term future of the business, it forces the leaders to look ahead, which can drive proactive change, as well as monitoring key performance indicators to really identify and address potential issues early on. So rather than being significantly impacted by a particular issue, the managers may identify changes in the KPI data and then be proactive about changing areas of the business before it becomes a significant issue. So, an example of proactive change is with Microsoft's investment of $11 billion in OpenAI, which is a leading artificial intelligence company. And so they initially started with a $1 billion investment in 2019, and then in 2023, put a further $10 billion investment in. And so the leaders could see potential or the potential impact that artificial intelligence could have on all of us in society. And they made that really proactive investment to be a leader in the industry in that AI space. And so that forward thinking move aims to enhance Microsoft's competitiveness and productivity and potentially even capture market share from the dominant competitor, particularly in search in Google. And so while it can go into search, also the opportunity for Microsoft to implement the OpenAI technology into their tools and applications for their customers, which could potentially drive even stronger growth than what they've got. Now, on the other hand, reactive change is an approach where businesses are impacted by the pressures from the business environments and then they implement changes as a result. Now, while it's not ideal to be reactive all the time, it is important to acknowledge that businesses can't possibly anticipate every pressure that they may be faced with, and therefore they may need to implement reactive changes quickly to try and mitigate any potential severe impacts on the business. For example, the recent COVID-19 pandemic is a really good example of an unforeseen event that most businesses were faced with, or all businesses were faced with, and they had to be reactive to changes in legislation and the entire marketplace, and they implemented changes across the globe. Now, reactive change might occur where a business is faced with a crisis and the managers need to implement changes in order to respond to that particular crisis. Managers may need to be able to shift strategies or reallocate resources very quickly if they're going to be reactive. So, while changes can be small, there are also times where the future of the business is under serious threat with a particular crisis. And so, the managers need to react to the environment that they're in and reallocate resources and change strategies very quickly. And managers may also need to implement reactive change with regards to competitors. If a competitor implements something and looks like they're going to be able to gain a competitive advantage, the business may need to implement changes in response to that. Now, it is more effective to be proactive and the business and be the business that is gaining a competitive advantage and causing their competitors to be reactive. However, it does show the importance of needing to manage reactive change at times because competitors are constantly fighting for these competitive advantages. Now, an example of a business that's implementing reactive change is Domino's Pizza. Now, Domino's, like many businesses, have been faced with inflationary pressures. So, the increased cost of their ingredients, as well as the increased cost of living pressures for many Australians, has resulted in reduced sales. And so, Domino's has responded by closing approximately 100 of their underperforming stores. They've postponed their Denmark expansion, which they had planned initially, as well as they've been launching more affordable products such as their My Domino's box. And so this has been in reaction to the changes in the economic environment, which has impacted the sales of Domino's because it's expected that their sales will drop by approximately 20%. And so these measures that they've implemented are expected to save Domino's between $53 million and $59 million, which illustrates, I guess, the effective reaction to a changing economic environment and shows how they've been able to successfully implement reactive change. So, just to recap, proactive change is about anticipating the changes in the dynamic business environments and then taking actions to try and take advantage of them. And reactive change is where the business is impacted by those pressures and then the business responds by implementing changes as a result. And so, while proactive change is more desirable, managers do need to be able to manage both proactive and reactive change because it is difficult for businesses to foresee everything that's going to impact the business in the future. So that brings us to the end of this video. Can't wait to see you in the next video. But until then, just remember that for questions, activities, and help in your VCE journey, then come on over to teachingbubble.com.